Hello students, let's read the problem. And it says, George graphed a quadrilateral on the coordinate grid below. The quadrilateral ABCD was rotated 90 degrees clockwise with the origin as the center of rotation. This transformation created a quadrilateral A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime. Which rule describes this transformation? So we're looking for the rule that describes the transformation. And the transformation that they're talking about is described as a rotation of 90 degrees clockwise. And the origin is going to be the center of the rotation. Okay? So clockwise means that my movement needs to go something like this. Okay? So think about a clock, and that's going to help me understand that my quadrilateral is going to go from being on this quadrant to go to the top quadrant because that's clockwise. Okay? Since I want 90 degrees, then we're going to do only like one step. That means that my quadrilateral is going to go from there where it's at right now to this top quadrant, and that's where my 90 degrees will be. Okay, so let's analyze the vertex B because that's the one that we're gonna focus on once I do the rotation. So B is at -5 and -3, and of course we're talking about this one right here. That's the one that I have. That's the original. Is that right? So what I want to do next is I want to rotate it. Now, if you guys have patty paper or wax paper, and you can actually do the move on your paper, that would be a great help. If not, then sorry, you're going to have to be with me on this, okay? And it's not going to be that easy what I'm going to do, so please be with me. I want to move the whole picture. Okay, so the way that we're gonna move it, look what I'm doing here. I'm rotating it. I'm rotating it, and I'm gonna stop when my X and my Y are kind of like aligned as they should be before. Do you guys see that? Okay, so I'm gonna stop right there, and I want you to look at the red original vertex, which is right here. This vertex, we said it was a -5 and a -3, right? And that's where it is. This is my original. This is my first one, okay? Now, look where my new quadrilateral is. Do you see that? Now, let's find out where B is now. And it's right here. Now, please be careful with thinking that these are positives or things like that. You gotta remember that these are my negative x's now. Okay, so isn't that the y? Do you guys see that? Okay, so what are the coordinates for this one? Well, this one has a coordinate of -3, and now it's a +5. And again, like I said, don't look at the labels that are in my grid because those were the original. Just think about the location that they would be here. So this is my y-axis, right? And that would be positives up here. This is my x-axis, and this would be negatives right there. Okay? So this is my x, this is my y. Very good. Okay? So what do you notice about the rotation? This is my 90 degrees, guys. So what do you notice? Anything about the numbers? Anything that you say, man, that looks like the same? And I hope that you're thinking like that. Look, this -3, it's right here in the front now as a -3. Is that right? So if my point or my coordinate was x and y, how do I get the new one? Well, it looks like the y came to the front. Is that right? Exactly as it is. Exactly. It was a -3. It stays as a -3, right? So what happened over here? Well, the negative 5 turned into a positive 5. But that was my x, right? So it's like you multiplying by a negative number. Therefore, this will be a negative x. Okay? So my coordinates x and y kind of swap. And you gotta consider that because when I did the twisting or my graph, notice how that's exactly what happens, right? So if you look at the answer choices for this, yes, my answer should be letter A for that one. Okay, take a look at here, take a look at my answer choices.